सीधे ले चलते हैं लाइव जंतर मंतर, जहां कांग्रेस का सत्याग्रह चल रहा है।
रुपए मिलेगी जो ठेके के ऊपर होंगे, तो किस तरीके से वो पूरी ताकत के साथ अपने देश के लिए पूरे समर्पण के साथ में लड़ पाएंगे। तो इसलिए आज ये जरूरी है कि स्कीम को हम लोग ये कहते हैं कि वापस लें, सब लोगों से चर्चा करें और चर्चा करने के बाद में हम सब लोगों की मांग है कि सरकार इसको अभी वापस ले, सब लोगों से बात करके कोई ऐसी स्कीम लेकर के आए जो सबके लिए अच्छी हो, हमारे देश की सुरक्षा के लिए अच्छी हो। अंत में मैं आज धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा हमारे तमाम लोगों को जिन्होंने अग्निपथ जैसी एक योजना जो कि युवाओं के साथ धोखा है, उसके लिए सारा कांग्रेस नेतृत्व यहां पर एक साथ खड़ा नजर आ रहा है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
जिन्होंने फौज में लंबे अरसे तक सेवा की, हमारे सांसद पूर्व प्रदेश अध्यक्ष आदरणीय उत्तम रेड्डी जी से मैं विनती करूंगा कि आइए, आपने तो फौज में सेवा की है, आप जितना अग्निपथ की बकवास बातों को कह सकते हो उतना कोई नहीं कह सकता।
Colleagues, friends and media friends, I've been an ex-serviceman myself, and I flew the MiG-21 and the MiG-23 fighter aircraft in the Air Force. I'm deeply alarmed that the Agnipath scheme, besides being very unfair and unjust to the youth of India, undermines national security. Undoubtedly ill-conceived and poorly planned, the Agnipath scheme lowers the morale of the armed forces, and the way it has been conceived, the armed forces are not going to be as well prepared on both the fronts as they should be. Media friends, I'd like to give you some statistics. The normal recruitment of the Air Force, Army and Navy every year is about 60,000 people. For the last 2.5 years, there has been no recruitment in the Army, Air Force or Navy. So approximately there are 130,000 vacancies as of now on a sanctioned strength of about 13 lakh for the Indian Armed Forces. Now, besides the 130,000 that is a shortfall now, there is no, what I'd like our media friends to note is, there is no regular recruitment for the armed forces this year also. That is, even after COVID has gone, there has been no regular recruitment for the armed forces, for the Army, Air Force or Navy. Now, all of a sudden, the Defense Ministry has announced the Agnipath scheme. The Agnipath scheme envisages only 6 months training and a total of 3.5 years service. I have spoken to a number of veterans, a number of serving officers. All of them are unanimous. This scheme may save the government a few crores in pension bill, but does not do well for the country's security. Today, when the country is facing a warlike situation on both our fronts, possibly for the first time after independence, both the borders are live. The Chinese are transgressing inside our border. The Pakistan forces are on our borders. At this time, the Defense Ministry tinkering with the structure of the armed forces is very, very unfortunate and condemnable. Not just the Agnipath, the Defense Ministry has also initiated something called an optimization exercise by which they want to reduce the manpower by 15%. All this, most of the veterans in the serving Army, Air Force and Naval officers feel that this is not good for the Indian Armed Forces or is not in the interest of national security. Media friends, you know, the protests across the country, the Congress party today is doing this satyagraha in solidarity with our young friends across the country who are protesting against the Agnipath scheme. This is totally BJP's wrong propaganda that somebody inciting it, somebody is fanning this violence. The protests across the country by the youth of the country have been spontaneous. Nobody has incited them. The youth has spontaneously erupted in protests across the country, and rightly so, because for lakhs of youth, they were looking forward for this army recruitment or air force recruitment or naval recruitment. Not only is the regular recruitment not being done, they come up with some, very, very badly planned scheme. I mean, they talk about armed forces across around the world. Nowhere in the world does an armed forces take people on a contractual basis. After 6 months of training, which is insufficient, and 3.5 years of service, 75% are discharged without pension, without medical benefits, without canteen benefits, without any benefits. As an afterthought, the Defense Ministry and various ministries are now announcing that these 75% will be absorbed into the various other ministries and other jobs. But I must tell you with my experience, ex-servicemen in this country have had these promises given to them for decades. These